In the winter of 2004, in Harlem and Beverly Hills, I gathered two groups of my peers, filmmakers, musicians, MCs, writers, scholars, and businessmen, to chat, debate, and tell stories about the 80s. Things we take for granted now in 2004, the seeds are planted in 84.
Crack, like Reagan, changed the landscape of this country. It was a drug that was cheap, very effective. It was something that could be smoked, and it was very pervasive.
And I remember in City College, we set up a smoke desk in the lounge, all good. And about a couple of years later, they had to hide in the basement because niggas were killing themselves.
Boom, bap, original rap.
We're live here at Point Break NYC.
New Jack City, the movie, was a big movement for a lot of young people around the world, and it did very well in the box office. But now everybody gets an opportunity to meet the real G-Money and how and where the movie came from and how it was inspired. You know, the real Margero is his real name, but you guys know him as G-Money.
Now the real G-Money has surfaced.
I'm just down here to support my man G-Money.
G-Money's a wonderful, wonderful person.
Today, we are very fortunate to have a legend. Now, there's all kinds of legends out there. You got musical legends, you know what I'm saying? You got movie legends, but you also got street legends. You got people that made a name in the streets. Now, one of my biggest accomplishments was when I made my first really acting debut.
We talking about breaking?
Well, actually acting. Yeah, you saw me in breaking, but I was rapping in breaking.
Okay.
But when I first cut my teeth on acting, it was in a movie called New Jack City.
Living just enough.
Wesley Snipes.
We will own the city.
Ice-T.
This is Detective Nick Peretti, big crazy jarhead, motorcycle freak, reject cop, just like you, Scotty.
On the streets, there's a fine line between wrong and right, good and bad, between those who enforce the law.
It is a war out there.
And those who break it. A family out to run a city are up against cops who know its streets.
This ain't business. This is personal.
Tell me about you growing up, because I want to get to you. I want to talk about your family structure and your mom. And you didn't come from these people, may have thought that you came from a poor background in your family.
No,
and you did not, right?
No, I'm still blessed. I still got some of them 20s.
This is the official autobiography of the original Gerald G-Money, okay? And he is in the house, and the bottom of it says, "Am I not my brother's keeper?"
Oh,
so, it's funny, though, G, because we make these movies. They say based on a true story, but there's always somebody behind that true story. And we're very fortunate to have you here because your history, there's nobody out there listening to the podcast that didn't see the movie, that wasn't fascinated with the whole CMB, Cash Money Brothers dynasty that they created in the film. You know the whole thing from Barry Michael Cooper, right?
Amen.
Who wrote the book. I wrote the story. So we're going to get into that, man. And we're going to tell the true story that went on behind that. And we ain't going to dry snitch or put nobody in jail. We're going to keep it. Plus, you got the statute of limitations.
Well, no, that's why I'm still here. I kept a low key. The greatest gift was to keep a low key. Most guys didn't want to keep a low key.
Yeah.
And all those guys are done and gone. So.
Exactly. So we got G-Money in the house, the original G-Money. He's got a story to tell, and this is what happens on the Final Level podcast. We'll go from a celebrity that you're well known. We'll go to the streets. We go to authors. We go to sports figures. And now we're about to get into it. So you ready to go?
I'm ready to go, baby.
Okay.
I was the beginning of New Jack City, and I'm the rebirth of the New Jack era. My book is The Chronicles of the New Jack Era. It's the official autobiography of my life story. We were never infiltrated. None of us never went to jail, and I never killed nobody. But I did have my share of beating brothers up. But here's the question I want to ask you, Ice. Mario Van Peebles came in there and asked you a question. I want to lay a couple names on you. Before the guy was shooting in that place, I want to remember, do you remember your line? It was a line that was questioned. He said, yo, I want to lay a couple names on you. His name is Nino Brown and his sidekick, Gerald G. Money Wells. What was your line?
I don't know.
I came here to lay a name on you. Nino Brown, sidekick Gerald G. Money Wells.
Yeah, they call themselves the Cash Money Brothers.
You should stick up check cashing joints, 2-bit jewelry stores.
Yeah, some brothers from Esplanade Gardens, thrill seekers, want to be gangsters. I hate them. So what's up is this?
Yeah, I know who you talking about. A couple of brothers from the Esplanade Gardens call themselves so-called gangsters.
Right.
Yeah, stick up kids, robbers, and so. And then all of a sudden, that went about.
Right.
They never knew. They tried to say that New Jack City was based on some guys out of that other place, Queens and all. Originally, from the script, and your line alone identifies the two main characters,
Which was the truth.
yeah.
Now the writer of the movie, you guys knew him.
We lived in the same building. We lived on the same floor.
Okay, what's his name? Barry
Michael Cooper.
Yes, sir.
And my Nino Brown lived on it. I only say Nino Brown to protect his name from the innocent.
Right.
But he lived on the 6th floor, and I lived on the 18th floor.
Did y'all work together for real though?
Yeah. You would not know that we weren't brothers because the way that we.
Can I ask this? And I definitely don't want to. Is he still alive?
Yes, he is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but anything else being a kingpin, there's kingpin time. You know, and sometimes you don't know when to get out. You know, his avenue was, he went to the dope game called The Boy, and I went with the girl. And that was the success between the two, because The Boy was just out, but the girl became more popular.
Can I explain it to people?
Sure.
Boy, as far as in the game, boy is heroin, and girl is cocaine.
That's right.
Okay.
But I didn't know that it would become so popular. You know, I went to the Dominican Republic. My dad, the retired deputy chief of New York City Fire Department. I played 2 different roles. And, you know, a little later we talk about other things that I was doing while I was involved with the CNB. But it was a lady that came back, and she worked for Wall Street. And she kept coming back like every hour to buy a gram of coke. A gram of coke was $100 a gram. You had to either work somewhere to get that type of money. For $200-300 those days was a lot of money. But Wall Street had the big market. So I branched out.
So you can honestly say you worked on Wall Street.
That's where the Wall Street junkie came from.
Right.
When your guy in the building wrote that story, did he come to you guys and say, yo, I'm going to put this out, but I'm going to use your name and Nino name?
No, at the time I was doing comedy at the world famous Apollo
you a
Theater.
Comedian?
Yeah, I started out at the Apollo.
How about that?
Yeah, I was there when Bobby Schiffman owned the Apollo. Honeycomb gave me my first job after winning like 6 weeks in a row. He had to call my mom to get a signature for me to go ahead and open up as a master of ceremony. He took a back seat and he let me perform. Later on, I came in contact with Rick Aviles, Van Paris, Roger Walker. He was some of the guys that were in the industry that I was engaged with. And what happened was, I got a little successful. I got on Bill Boggs' Midday Live with Rich Little, and it was an opening act for me. I had been experienced with the Apollo from dealing with that crowd. You know, the crowd makes you, professional comedian. But if you can deal with the Apollo crowd as hecklers, good. I seen Steve Harvey get booed off one time I came in there. They thought he was more like Richard Pryor.
Right.
They thought, I was like, wow. I didn't, because he sounded more like Richard Pryor during the time. So I got into the venture with comedy for a while. Pegasus, Studio 54, Leviticus, some of the big clubs. And I made a name for myself. And one of the keys was, first of all, my real name is Mar Gerald. I took off the Mar to protect myself from the innocent. I didn't say check this out.
Yeah.
I took off the Mar and just left. All my family members always call me Gerald. But I made my first G with Nino Brown. I became Gerald G. And then I wanted the world to remember me by, I said, I need something that everybody can relate to. And that's where Gerald G. Money came from. After that, today, I never thought that my neighbor would, be inspired by my idol figure at that time when I was exposed to Apollo, Film Madison, Garden, opening act. I was one of the youngest impressionists. I do voices too, by the way.
Well, wait a minute, hold up. Let's pause. We gonna get into that. Let's go back. We gonna go back. Okay. So Nino, we just say that name. Yeah. Nino went with the heroin. You went with the coke. Now the people down in Wall Street were buying and stuff. And was there ever a Cash Money Brothers? Was that a real thing?
Yeah, from 123rd Street. I don't know if you remember the thing called Chunky Black.
Yeah, that's the weed.
Yeah, it was Chunky Black was an herb. What I did was I had a guy that gave me some real dark Colombian smoke, and I sprayed it with something in my mother's kitchen. I didn't realize that it would create a big buzz. Well, when I sprayed it, I hit it with a hammer and stuck it together, and they asked me what you gonna call it. It was all caked up, so I made like one joint in the bag called Chunky Black.
So you were experimenting again. You were in there spraying shit, hitting shit with hammers.
Yes, I hit it with a hammer. I hit it with a hammer, and it stuck together. My man had went to his father's car to get his toolkit, and in his toolkit was a razor blade, so I cut it in blocks. He said, what you gonna call it? I said, Chunky Black. They said, how we gonna sell it? I said, we gonna rent a limousine. I'm gonna put you all in black sweatshirts, the first crew, and they had a money sign on it. We went into Chunky Black. See, in the back of the can, it says, do not inhale. So you try to inhale the smoke, you can cough your head off. You got 5 guys getting high on one joint. I marketed that and I called it Chunky Black to this day. There was another one after that one came with the Afghanistan and Stilia Sesame before I got into the high category of the coke. The Afghanistan Sesame was this long on a leaf in a pound. I cut it and the lady was sewing.
It was a foot long.
Yeah, it was real long. So I was eating some Chinese food. I said, no, why they give people black people Chinese sticks? And we can't even eat with them. What else can we do with them? So I took the 2 sticks and I put them down. And I measured it the size of the weed. So I cut it. So the seamstress was sewing. So I said, can I get some of that thread for a minute? I tied it on the thread and tied it up. They said, what you gonna call that? I said, shit, it's on a stick. Why don't we just call it tie stick?
Wow.
You came up with Chunky Black from 123rd.
And tie stick. Now, tie stick was all the way in L.A.
No, but I know about 123rd Street because that was a Chunky Black and the Panama Red. You can get on that block. But you say you came up with Chunky Black and the tie stick.
No, that's right. And that's where the CMB came from. That's where I was able to duplicate myself to send the guys in the block. They was in the block. That was one of the Cash Money Brothers. Yeah, that's one of them brothers over there. Yeah, I know him, and I know him. Yeah, that's them Cash Money Brothers. And that was just an idea. I didn't think it would grow so largely. It's one thing to be able to...
Well, you know what it was? I'm going to tell you, it wouldn't have grown so largely, but that's what movies do. So once your game becomes documented, now the world gets a chance to see it. So even though CMB was happening here in Harlem, there was so many, like the young boys out of Detroit and all these different cliques, but only street niggas know about them. You follow me? But once it kind of gets that mainstream pow, it becomes famous. Right? And CMB, the movie, just took that name into history.
And that's actually myself as CMB.
You always look into movies and it says, is this a true story? It never is. It says, based on a true story. And then at that point, you know, they start making it happen the way they want to make it happen. And like I was saying, that they merged a drug operation from California
to New York
to make it better for the film.
And I just want to let you know, we're all going to make this movie.
We are doing a movie. I'm going to put my boys in it. Even my grandkids are going to be the G-Money because it's going to talk about how I started. This movie is going to be an extension of New Jack City.
Yes.
It's going to be an extension of Boys in the Hood.
Whoa.
It's going to be an extension of the one with Tyrese and Omar Gooding. What was that? Baby Boy. It's going to be an extension of Straight Outta Compton. It is going to tell the truth about how it all started by young men and women hanging out in the neighborhoods of America and creating a musical culture that evolved and evolved and evolved. My old record is still on the radio. All this new stuff is still on the radio.
We're all gonna make this movie. We're gonna get all the players engaged with who
Well, I'm
we need to
involved, baby. I'm involved. You know, just let me get in where I fit in. You dig what I'm saying?
Hold on. Before G-Money get up out of here, man, we gonna let our listeners hear Ice-T did from New Jack City, Hustler.
Hustler!
And this was considered Nino's theme. When I did the movie, I was playing the cop, but I said, you know, I can't really write from a cop's perspective. Let me write this song from Nino Brown's.
Would you play Scotty again, Ice?
Nah, I'm not too old to play Scotty right now. I'll sit
Too
back.
old?
I'm gonna sit in the
You ain't
director's chair. I'll sit back in the director's chair and tell one of them little kids, chase him. But this is Nino's theme, New Jack Hustler.
Yo, my favorite.
Hustler, word, I pull the trigger long. Grip my teeth, spray to every brother's gone. Got my block sewn on my dope spots. Last thing I sweat, so sucker punk cop. Move like a king when I roll hops. You try to flex, bang, another brother drop. You gotta deal with this, cause there's no way out. Why? Cash money ain't never gonna play out. I got nothing to lose, much to gain. In my brain, I got a capitalist migraine. Gotta get paid tonight to keep my hustle right. Quick when I speak, check my speak, keep my game tight. So many girls on my jock think I'm a movie star. 19, I got a $50,000 car. Go to school, I ain't going, throw it, kiss my butt, bust the cork on the Moet. Cause I don't wanna hear that crap. Why? I'd rather be a New Jack Hustler.